sorry, not the Ling, the Fanny early on.
Yeah.
Right? That's a very big if though.
Yeah.
It's Fred and Arlott, Eve. Let's see. I think a lot of this is going to be based on, okay, Super Yoshi and Ukir's rotation and Ukir's timing, most importantly, of the real-world manipulation to see if it can mess up.
Welcome to Mobile Legends!
But considering that they're up against an EX billionaire with one of the best surprise ultimates that you can dish out, gonna be easier said than done here for Omega.
Yeah. With a recent adjustment or nerf onto the Fanny, it's going to be... you're basically telling Fanny players that there is literally less room for error. Base damage for skill 1 has been reduced as well as the ultimate. So all the angles that Andoryu will try to go for, it needs to be precise. But now Super Yoshi trying to answer back up against Renegade, forcing Renegade to back off.
I am not she's still thinking about the Fanny here later on, especially with Renegade on the Cho. It feels like it's going to be so hard to make pickoffs happen, so I feel like Omega's early game is going to be slowed down just a little bit here. And again, I'm hoping that Jome is more comfortable on this Clint. Hoping, because I really want to see a good game from Jome for some reason.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen that as much lately.
Honestly, as long as Aurora isn't able to invade Omega, and at least Omega has an equal chance of contesting for neutral objectives, Omega has already done their part.
Yeah.
And that's the best that they could do at this point.
All right, level 4 already for Andoryu, relatively quick. Okay, missed the energy eruption though.
Woo!
Oh,
That's spicy.
Oh, good moves, Andoryu, not gonna lie.
Alright.
That is impressive.
And now Super Yoshi upon Fred as well. Doesn't have any of these ultimates yet, so they might have some problems here dealing with this coming turtle. NJ looking for a target. Super Yoshi definitely going to be it. Look at the top side though.
Edward up against 2. Andoryu is there, but Edward goes in because Demon Kite is in the picture as well. Renegade gonna try and cut off the exit round of Omega, and still no casualties.
Okay, here's another condition for Omega. Andoryu just being Andoryu. If he can,
What does that mean?
he
Being
can have
a
a
nightmare.
god-like Fanny performance, live up to the name, the Nightmare. Be a nightmare for Aurora.
Okay.
But yeah, this is a nightmare right now for Fanny. He only has like one angle to try and retribute it away, and there's so many bodies in front of him. Look at that line!
It's a line!
There's,
Oh my
literal, there's a literal line just to stop the Fanny from entering.
Wow, they know what's going to happen, right? They know where it's going
Yep.
to come from.
So if Renegade misses, there's Edward, and eventually there's Demon Kite, the final boss that Andoryu has to get through. And
Renegade!
now the invades are there, the angles are connecting, but Lewis answers with the AOG, Uker with the RWM. Here comes the clapback coming in from Omega as they
Whoa!
take down 3. And a huge win for Omega.
That was a 5-man kill box for Omega. They were trapped inside the concave of the orange buff.
That's what we're talking about. The timing, Ukir, the real-world manipulation. That was one of the major conditions I ticked out. And Aurora failed to check into it. Omega, Ukir, great counter. And now we have ourselves in a series.
Yeah. The circumstance of that class was literally to Omega's favor.
Yeah.
The place was not too wide. It was ideal for Andoryu, and at the same time they played around that clash, around that real-world manipulation. So easy win, but Renegade commits the kick already. Edward trying to go for the follow-up, missed the final slash as Andoryu was able to cable out.
Yeah, too fast. For the last big team fight, the one we saw in the orange buff, I was even surprised that Andoryu was able to cable out. But I think Aurora just didn't have the damage right away to make sure they made the most out of the kick that Renegade was able to dish out. While for the kick we just saw, the trajectory of the Way of the Dragon was already changed by the cable of Andoryu, the initial one.
So now we're going to have to kind of step back as well. Andoryu definitely having a better time, like you mentioned, doing Andoryu things. Making sure that Aurora is on their toes, you know, they're making it hard to hunt him down. Aurora at the same time, Renegade is the key here to finding that Fanny, and he's just kind of focused on making sure that Dolming also has a good lane.
Yeah. And same goes for Super Yoshi, trying to target Dominic Kite and Yue, but important to note that there are 2 Purifies up for Aurora. So they need to pick their fights. Ideally, force Aurora to play around the real world manipulation.
Whoa.
Here comes the Tsunami Slam. Gonna connect onto Edward. As Andorio gonna try and back off. First man down is Edward.
The
And they're trying to go for more. There's the Revitalize. There's the taunt as well. And Super Yoshi might fall down. But Andorio with another entry. Jome is just delivering the final blows. Gonna bring down 3. He wants to make it 4. Sets his eyes on Renegade. There's the taunt coming in from Lewis. Renegade is gonna be able to escape as Omega executes that to perfection.
Omega unbreakable. It's Luis. Able to use the taunt just in time in the middle of that team fight. Caught 2, and that turned things around for Aurora. Bought enough time for eventually Andorio to come in. Even dished out an AOG. Final slash by Edward will miss. Execution by Omega after that abysmal game number 1. Gotta respect is really good in this game number 2. Andorio!
Oh, look at that.
Commits a kick onto Andorio. Might be able to escape still with the cables. Woo!
Back at it again. Again, Andorio, the Nightmare, just staying true to the name, giving such a bad nightmare here for Aurora. Now they have to do so much to deal with this.
Oh,
Andorio all alone. Cleared the minions, no push happening.
final slash gonna connect onto Andorio. Lantern Flare as well. They might be able to shut him down. A bit too overzealous there for Andorio to try and save that bottom lane turret.
Yeah. Great commitment by Yue and Edward. Edward committing the flicker, Yue committing the Crimson Beacon to make sure that they can secure the kill there onto the Fanny, which opens up space in the bottom of the map for Aurora.
Wow, that was a lot of resources as well being thrown by Aurora on the bottom. That obviously Jome is having a fun time just farming up all this gold on the top side of the map. So it feels like it's a pretty good trade as well for Omega. And the gold lead is neck and neck, not even 1,000.
Yeah. 300 lead ahead for Jome because again, he was able to pick up 3 kills in that turtle clash. Beautifully executed by Omega, but Aurora is still back on their winning formula, trying to put a lot of pressure in the middle lane and control it once again away from Omega.
Now slowly going into this, we've been noticing that Aurora has been committing 5-man box outs basically for the turtle, so they are seeing a lot of value in this one. I don't think they want to let this go right now. Waiting for a good way to get started, obviously, is just push out that wave on top. And now they might start now.
I like this positioning by Omega. I think they have to keep this Luis in front, Super Yoshi in the back. They can trade it out, but Luis is a little bit sturdier.
Alright, obviously no 5-man lines blocking Andorio this time around.
Yeah.
So it will be a bit of an easier steal maybe. He's also a level ahead of Demon Kite.
Straight line right now for Andorio to steal.
Oh! Stolen away by the Nightmare. Now the clap back from Aurora, but Andorio answers still with a shutdown onto Edward. A conceal coming in from Lewis. Super Yoshi gonna try and size up Aurora. Setting his eyes onto Renegade as they try and defend the mid lane turret.
Things are just going so much better right now for Omega.
I love that all 3 of us held our breaths there right before the retribution.
We're all like,
we all went silent.
We did it! All of us became fans, honestly.
That was classic. That was classic. Now the goal lead ballooning the T2K, the biggest lead that we've seen from Omega in the series so far today.
Yeah. Surprisingly enough, that was enough distance within retribution range to take that away. I thought he thought. I thought he actually thought twice about going for the retribution steal, but apparently it was enough for Andorio.
Yeah, seemed to be very happy to just take these turrets. Andorio's working on the Yue here. No answer whatsoever, even with Edward close by.
And that was a 2v1. Even the final slash connecting onto Andorio, but Andorio is just too much to handle for Aurora. Already has a 2-1-4 KDA with his Fanny.
Yeah, Omega can keep this up, honestly. They've been executing the team fights very well. Okir's timings of the real-world manipulation have been very good. Yoshi and Luis juggling the responsibilities well. Jome is deathless. He's 3-0-3. Right now, the harder to execute, harder to pull off lineup is on the side of Aurora, strangely enough. Despite the Omega playing around the Fanny, Andorio is making it look so easy while Omega sticking to their guns. They're very standard fundamental guns of play around the real world manipulation well, let Luis get vision, so Super Yoshi is the one who'll just go for the extra follow-up crowd control initiation with the Tsunami Slam.
That's actually true. Luis has been very on point with AOG so far. They're not using the Kalea as like the big initiator, right? It feels like they're just using it to follow up, and it's being given to a good effect. Now they're on the hunt.
Renegade connects the kick onto Jome. Jome with the flick around. AOG is going to connect onto the back line. Here comes Edward with the final slash, going to deliver the final blow onto Jome.
Yikes.
And now they're going for more as they take down Super Yoshi.
No!
Next target there is Lewis in the 3-kill swing for the Northern Lights.
Feels like I just cursed them.
You did.
Just when I was so happy for them, suddenly Aurora with a turnaround and the clapback. And now Omega lost 3 and they might lose this Lord.
Unbelievable. I'm so... It's so funny because the moment you mentioned it, they got clapped on the bottom. Like, what?
Yeah, this is why Renmar voted for RRQ. Because of the curse.
Why did you have to bring
Why
that
you have to bring
back?
that up?
Because of the curse.
I mean, I've already addressed this.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on. Anyway, either way, it did happen. And we're seeing here, Jome was the big target. Used the Purify very early on, but to no effect. Everyone was so close by and really, really making giggle attempts at him.
Oh. Now with just that play, already 500 gold swing for Aurora. They also have the Lord. Now Omega's momentum literally shattered by Northern Lights.
Item-wise, still quite close for both. They do have a good stack of items already for the Harith, for Aurora, meanwhile for Omega. Still very comebackable for them. Need a little bit more penetration though on that Clint. They already have loads on the Fanny already up to the Malefic Roar. You should have the damage to deal with this, considering that Ukir already also has the Magic Lantern. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah, it's actually still not as close of a fight, not as far of a fight. So you see, look at that. Super Yoshi.
Gonna connect. Here comes the
Real world.
Real world manipulation. Good placement. And now Andoryu just getting kills. Edward is gonna fall down. Next target might be Renegade, but Lewis is the first on the chopping block. 1-for-1 trade. Edward and Lewis will fall down.
That could have been a lot worse for Aurora.
Yeah.
Okir's real world was just, it looked good, but then people started just walking out.
Yeah, everyone just collapsed. It was a bunch of tanky people also who had enough sustainability to survive the initial onslaught. Andoryu went in, but it was just such a focused cluster of members of Aurora that I would understand why Andoryu didn't decide to full commit, just dealing damage all throughout.
It actually done a lot of damage as well, near the walls. It was very close to walls here. So I know what you mean. But right now, it does feel like it's just a stalemate, with Omega at least pushing back Aurora by a little bit. With a 2K gold lead, Aurora feels, they're very, what do you call it, they're very controlled on how they're approaching this. Not really full invading unless they're a 5-man, which they're doing right now.
So far, our surgeons from Renegade, this time the kicks are connecting to the proper target. Before that Lord Clash, he actually connected the Way of the Dragon onto Jome and delivered his first death. And now it's connecting onto Andoryu, trying to stop the momentum of the Fanny with the cables. So Aurora holding on to a 2.4k gold lead, but they're going to take the discipline route and not over-engage unless they want to contest for this purple buff.
Yeah, they should, definitely should stay disciplined here. One by one. Take out the checklist, wait for the initiations, because Aurora's the one who's going to want to initiate first. Meanwhile, for Omega, yes, they can, but I think the last team fight feels like a harsher reminder for them that even though they get a really good real-world manipulation, there's just so much crowd control that Andoryu now, if everyone from Aurora is clustered up, he will have to respect that. So now with the members of Aurora deciding to go down, this might be Omega getting sandwiched, as you'll see the Harith and the Cho are going to be coming from behind.
Oh,
Omega are already in the Lord.
Didn't we see this yesterday?
Yeah, we saw something. Yeah.
Very similar to this,
like
right?
with Yaoi.
Yeah, it was Yaoi, but got spotted out by few. Here comes a conceal!
Oh!
Flicker didn't connect. Super Yoshi and Ukir was able to back off, but Aurora still has good hold over the Lord. Andoryu, though, will he get spotted out by Demon Kai? Let's see.
What a reaction by Ukir, able to go out. Renegade goes in!
Connects the kick, but the Tsunami Slam counter coming in from Omega as Andoryu goes from the back. Lewis is going to fall down in the clapback coming in from Aurora. Dominkai dancing with his Zaman Force. Might be able to bring down Ukir. And a mega kill coming in from the next standard. Super Yoshi has his immortality, not yet popped, and able to walk away scot-free. But 2 will fall down from the Barangay.
Yeah, Dory just not doing as much damage as we thought he would on that Fanny right now. Half HP for most members of Aurora, but they can't really stop him right now.
Now they're going on the base push. They have minions onto the middle lane and the bottom lane. They might go for the tower lock. Dominkite goes in with the Salmon Force. They're waiting for Andorio, but right again with a beautiful kick. Aurora dominant came to once again, but Omega with the clapback. Edward is going to fall down. Not yet endable for the Barangay.
That was a beautiful kick, though. I love that kick from Renegade. Laser focused, even on low HP.
Yeah, not done yet, though. Omega are going to be pushing forward. Conceal committed. Jome. Oh, Renji was able to go back. The Clint is still healthy. The Clint still has damage. And Omega are still in this.
They are still in this for sure. Only a 4K gold lead for Aurora means that Omega are still primed and ready to fight here.
5 seconds before Andoryu spawns back. Lord still untouched, and they have good hold over Andoryu's purple buff. This might be a huge opening, but again, 2 inhibitor turrets are taken down for the side of Omega. Andoryu has his purple buff. Will they be able to contest against Aurora?
I think they do. They can also use that to clear the bottom lane, and the Fanny can just go back to the Lord very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't think Omega's super behind, but they will have to deal with this somehow.
Okay, they're going a little bit faster onto Lord. They still see the Fanny in the bottom. Still a bit too far away for Omega's Fanny. The Andoryu jungler pick. Way too far. He's waiting. Trying to bide some time. Omega, good positioning. The best that they can find right now. But with Aurora holding the crucial shrub of that middle shrub there.
Yeah, it's gonna be this is gonna be hit hard here. Everyone is ready. Everyone is present.
Reposition.
Jomi's in front. Look at it. He's so confident.
Look at this dance. Great move by these 2 teams. Renegade in the back.
Renegade from the back connecting onto Joe. Real manipulation will be casted down. Lord still up, but there is 3 bodies falling from the side of the Barangay. Make it 4 as Demon Kite also picks up the Lord.
And that feels like game. Renegade with the attack from behind, looking really, really smooth there. And it's a 5-man of Aurora just barreling down the base.
5-man march for the Northern Lights and a step closer and securing an upper bracket spot for Aurora.